Good morning. I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So thanks for joining me again on my weekly 5 in 5 series where I share 5 quick tips in just 5 minutes on minimalism and living a life with less. So today I'm going to be busting 5 so-called must-dos in minimalism that you can totally skip. So if you've ever felt that pressure to declutter faster, to get rid of more stuff, or to fit into some sort of a minimalist mold, I have some good news for you. And that's that you don't have to do it all. Minimalism should be about flexibility, not rigidity. And so let's get started into 5 minimalist must-dos that aren't actually necessary. So my first tip is, if you're a minimalist, you must live in a tiny space. So this one actually makes me smile because many people just assume if you're a minimalist, it means that you have to live in a small, tiny house or a tiny space, studio apartment, or maybe even an RV. And some people do. But minimalism isn't about how small your space is. It's about how intentionally you use it. So if you try this, instead of downsizing just to downsize, focus on right sizing. So whether you live in a 500 square foot a studio apartment or a 5,000 square foot home, ask yourself, is this house working for me or am I working for it? So if you're spending more time and far too much time cleaning and managing and organizing a large property with very little time to actually enjoy it and live your life, you might consider a smaller home more manageable that suits you and your current lifestyle. Conversely, if you're living in a small home that no longer suits you and your growing family, it might be time to find a little larger home that's right sized for you right now. So my second tip is you have to own only one of everything to be a true minimalist. So this makes me smile because that's just not going to happen, because I love to cook and I love to have my knives. So some minimalism, gets boiled down to only one thing of each item. So one coat, one knife, one whatever. But reality is life doesn't work that way, and you don't have to limit yourself that way just to prove that you're a minimalist and that you're trying to live with less. It's much more important and practical to think about functionality and forget those limitations. So bottom line, keep what you use, not what you think you should use. So again, if you like cooking, keep your knives, keep your bowls, whatever it is that makes sense for you. Minimalism is not about restricting you, it's about what makes sense for you. So my third tip is you have to declutter ruthlessly. Now, I have to say, I've talked about ruthless decluttering because sometimes you just have to do that. If you're in a hurry, if you are cleaning out, a lot of junk. But some minimalists advise, it makes it sound like you need to be ruthless most of the time when you declutter, and that's just not true. Discarding things without that hesitation or no second guessing, that's one form of decluttering, but I don't think it's the norm. So minimalism, that kind of minimalism can actually create anxiety and much regret, especially when it comes to sentimental items or things that are useful and do serve a purpose. So instead of ruthless decluttering, practice thoughtful decluttering. Get in the habit of asking yourself, does this item improve my life? Does it make my life easier? If it does, keep it. If not, just let it go. When you're ready, there's no pressure, no guilt. Just do it in your own time when you're ready. And my fourth tip is digital minimalization means deleting everything. So sometimes the rules of minimalism are overzealous and they go overboard. So digital minimalism often recommends delete social media, delete certain apps, delete emails. So while reducing these certainly can be helpful and make you more productive, it's not always practical, nor is it always real. Because sometimes it's fun to enjoy some social media or have some certain apps. So instead of wiping out everything, focus on digital intentionality. So unfollow certain accounts that suck up your time and drain you. Streamline your inbox and then set limits on screen time and social media. So this way you are practicing decluttering some of those things, but you're also making it more realistic. So keep what's useful to you, but remove the excess. And my last tip is buying nothing is the goal. So as a many minimalism say try a no-buy challenge. I've actually tried this and I like it. I'm actually in one of those no-buy challenges now after the holidays. I always, cut back. And this can be great, but they can also lend itself to guilt when you do purchase something. So the goal of minimalism isn't never to buy things. It's about better buying things, mindfully buying with intention. So when you try this, instead of buying nothing, focus on buying with intention. Before making a purchase, ask yourself, does it align with my values? Will I use it often? And if the answer is yes, then buy it, guilt-free. So there you have it. Those are my 5 minimalist musts that you can totally ignore. So minimalism isn't about proving how little you can live with. It's about creating a life that's lighter, freer, and more intentional. So if this video helped you rethink what minimalism is to you, please like it and please subscribe to my channel because that helps us grow. And then also share it with those people who you think will benefit. So, and if you want to learn more about decluttering without pressure, check out my essentials checklist. They'll help you simplify your life in a way that works for you. And I'll see you again next week.